Hello, this is Creating Cards with Sherry. I'm Sherry, and I'm so glad that you have joined me today for my Tickle Tuesday video. We are going to be making a diamond pop-up card today. And there's a lot of little pieces with it, and rather than go through everything in this demonstration, I just wanted to have as much of it prepared for you, and then we'll assemble it and put it together. You can find all of the measurements and products that were used on my blog, which is creatingcardswithsherry.blogspot.com, and everything will be there for you so that you know how this is done. All right. The cardstock that we're using today is shaded spruce and pecan pie. And then I'm also using the designer series paper called Nests of Winter. And this came out last winter. And we used it with I think it was in the celebration catalog, and now it's available in the annual catalog. So we're going to use that as our designer series paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get started, and we're going to start to assemble this, and you'll get to see what fun it is. All right. The first pecan piece that we need is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And that will fit right in here. So I'm going to go ahead. And we're just going to stick that right in there. So it'll have a narrow border all the way around. Just like that. Okay. So you want to make sure that the border is even on this side so that you're not right up against the fold. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to tell you on your cardstock, on a shaded spruce, that's the 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 regular base card. And it'll be scored at 4 1/4, but then you also score it at 2 1/8 so that it will fold over like this. All right. Okay. Then the designer series paper that goes in there is 4 by 5 1/4. And so we're going to put that in next. And it will go in here and with a small border all the way around as well. Now we're going to do 2 panels, this one and this one, and there will be 2 pieces of the pecan pie at 2 by 5 3/8. So we're going to put those in. So we're doing somewhat of a winter card, but it's summer out here. Boy, it finally hit the 80s, and we are feeling it. It seemed to take forever for winter to come or for summer to come, because it's been a very cold. Even last week, or was it 2 weeks ago? I can't even think of time now. When it was Memorial Day weekend, it was cold. It was chilly, and we're all looking around, going, "This is supposed to be the first day of summer. Where is it?" All right, and then the DSP will be 7/8 by 5 1/4. So we're going to put this designer series paper in here just like that. And one more. Okay. And then we have our pop-up mechanism, and this is 2 by 5 inches. And what you're going to do is you're going to score it in 4 different places. It'll be 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and 4 inch. So that's pretty easy. And then you want to take one end and just trim like a 16th millimeter off the end of it. So it's just a little bit smaller than the other side. And you want to do that so that it will lay nicely in on this paper. It'll lay nicely together. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, this is my shorter end. So I'm going to put some glue right there and then laying it flat so it'll glue correctly, adhere correctly. Then we're just going to let that set right there. Okay. And this will be our pop-up mechanism. And when we put it in here, you will see that when the card folds, it will fold flat so that you have your card size. Okay. All right. Let's see. Do I want to start with that? Or yeah, maybe I will. What I did ahead of time is on my pecan pie paper, I'd put a little tick mark. I'm sure you can't see it. Let's see if I can. There's just an itty bitty tick mark right there that shows me that that's the center. And I also put a little itty bitty one right there. And so I'm going to line up my mechanism right there with the 2 tick marks to make sure that this is centered. I got to bring it closer to me so I can make sure I set it correctly. And that should put you right in the middle of your card. All right. So if actually, maybe what I'll do is maybe I can do it that way. Yeah, I'll do it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on this end. Well, let's see. Hang on just a second. I want to fix this so that this is the bottom where we connected the 2 sides. And right here. So I'm going to fold this way. And I'm going to set this up. Just watching carefully what I'm doing. And I'm going to put another tick mark right there. So I know that that's where I line it up. And then when I fold it, those edges will be at the bottom. Okay, does that make sense? So the bottom, where we glued the 2 together, where we glued the 2 ends together, that'll be the bottom. All right, and if I fold this down like this, we'll line it up where it needs to be, and then it'll be right smack dab in place, okay? All right, I hope that makes sense. I did the tick marks because it was just easier for me, and I could line it up better than to just eyeball it. So I'm going to put that right in there. And again, you don't want to get right tight up against the score or the fold line because then it won't fold if you do. So you want to get it so that it's really close. And what I did is I matched it up with the border of the pecan pie cardstock. So we'll just let that set for a while. And while that's setting, we're going to go ahead and put these together. These squares are 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. And then what I did is I took the stylish shape dies and I took this second square and I cut out the birds from the designer series paper. Now, some people, if you use a different designer series paper, you can actually just cut a square that will fit in here that will be a little different in size. And you can, actually, you can cut, let me show you. You can take the next biggest square size, and whoop, that's the small one. The next biggest square size and cut these out. And then any pieces that you want to put inside, you can put those inside. and you won't have a separate deal. Does that make any sense? I'm having a hard time explaining. But anyway, I measured them up against the paper. I would take what did I do with it? My little square, and I would measure it up so that I got it to be right where I wanted it to be, and then I would cut it out. So you just want to make sure that you put these together. And I actually, like you can see on this one, I actually penciled around it so that I made sure that I got the right one, and I would cut it out a little larger, and then I put it in my die cut machine, lined it up, and cut it exactly the way that I wanted it to be. All right. So you can cut things out like that. If you want to do just a plain DSP paper, and you can cut that out then and put little images on here as well. So anyway, I am going to glue these together now. Okay, I was just looking at the notes that I have from what Mandy Witherby had put. Mandy Witherby was the demonstrator that I got this idea from, and I had never, I have no idea who she is. I just happened to come across her, what do you call it? Her video, and I decided to go ahead and do this card. And I was just looking at the directions that she had given. And what she did is she did the 1 7/8 of the cardstock, and then she took designer series paper and she cut 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. And then she put her little images on. So there's all sorts of ways you can do it. You just have to find what's going to work for you. All right. I also cut out some little pieces from the designer series paper just to add to my squares. Because, well, like you see, when I cut this, I was getting into the head of another bird on the designer series paper. So I'm going to place this little leaf right down here, which will cover that head, and no one will know the difference. Okay. All right. This one I am going to do the same thing with. Ooh, got a little bit of glue in there. Let's push that around. You know what? I laid it down here wrong, I think. Yeah. I don't know what I did exactly, but okay, now it's on right. And then I'm going to add another leaf or fern or whatever you want to call it up here. And then I have one more. And I have one more leaf. And then you can do your sentiment any way you want. Really does not matter what you decide to do. You can, but you'll just have to make sure that it's the size that will fit on the card. And I'll explain all that as we assemble this together. Okay, I'm just going to hold this in place so it takes hold. All right, there we go. I took from the Special Moments. It's an old stamp set, Special Moments, and I used the note Just a Little High from Me. All right, so I'm going to, and I use my black Memento ink to put that together. I want to get it centered right though. It's kind of, it's moving on me, but it's not moving the way I want it to. Okay, I think that's the best I'm going to get it. And then I did some more fussy cutting, and I did these little pine cones. I thought they would be cute on here. So I'm going to put one there. And one here. Okay. All right, so this should be ready now. And I've chosen for this bird to be the center, so I'm going to line it up with that tick mark right there. And that's where I want to place my glue. Now you have to remember that you only want the glue on this side. You don't want to do the whole thing, otherwise you're going to end up gluing it with your card closed. So you want to make sure, I'm going to line it up with that little tick mark. And you want to make sure that you're only gluing on this side. All right. And then we're going to close this. Oh, you know what? Yeah. I have to think about this for a minute. I think this goes in further yet. And then we're going to put this one down here. And again, you just want to line it up evenly where that fold is going to be. You don't want to do it on the whole thing. You just kind of line it up with the border of that. I'm lining it up with the border of the pecan pie cardstock. Whoops, I almost did this wrong. Let's see here. Gotta make sure it's going the way I want. Here we go. Don't want that right there. Okay. All right, and then I'm just going to line this up right here. So you have these two ends that are barely touching each other, and they're just on the edge of the border at the top and bottom. And then what's going to happen, come on, is when this pops up, you'll see all three birds. Cool, huh? All right, now I just realized that doesn't go all the way in there. Because when I did that, it got scrunched in the fold. So it'll be like this. You'll see a little bit of this corner out. And then you just, oh, it's not popping up like it should. For some reason, somehow I got glue there, and I don't know how I did that. Okay, so this is like this. And then you just, it won't come. I think I have to wait for it to settle a little bit. But when you pop it open, you'll see all three birds. Isn't that cool? I just think it's so cool how that works. There we go. All right. And it makes it a very fun card. All right. I think what I might do, I'm going to change this just a little bit. We're going to put this right on the edge here. And I am going to put some glue on this side, I think, so that it will pull that up. Just a little bit of glue. I'm just going to flatten it all down right now so that the glue will take hold. It's taking. I'm struggling with it. All right. You know what? I will come back to you on the next video and let you know exactly how this needs to be done, because I'm obviously doing something. Well, it's just not sticking right now. It's not adhering because I haven't waited long enough. And then what I did, then I take my sentiment, and again, it can be any size that will work for you, and put anywhere you want, but I am going to squeeze mine right in here. Oh. There we go. Well, that worked that time. Now I got it so that it is tight enough. So isn't that cool how that works? All right. So when you look at that, when you first get the card, it'll look like this, and then you open it up and you'll see all three squares. And that are your diamonds, I should say. And that's your diamond pop-up card. All right. Pretty neat. All right. I hope that you enjoyed that. I'm sorry for the little moments there. I don't know what happened, but that card is a lot of fun to do. I've seen people do it with flowers, and at least Mandy had one that someone had sent to her actually, and she had done it with flowers, and it was really pretty. And so I might make another one just to have fun with it. But for now, that's where we're at. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you on Sunday for my Simple Sunday video when we will do another pop-up card, and that will be the column pop-up card. All right. See you on Sunday. Bye-bye.